Hello and welcome to the 11 on 11, our weekly wrap-up of the big stories we covered this week. I'm Ashley King. Of course, the biggest headline, the new head hog. Ryan Silverfield is now in charge of the team. The former Memphis head coach won 50 games in 6 seasons with the Tigers, and many hope he can do the same in Fayetteville. Tyler Cass heard from Hog fans after his introductory press conference earlier this week.
When Ryan Silverfield was announced as the new Razorback head football coach on Sunday, reactions among the fan base were decidedly mixed, particularly negative on the, let's call them, more online section of Hog fans. Over the last few days, though, Silverfield has done everything he can to win this fan base over, flipping some in-state recruits, making them call the Hogs, and then today, in front of fans at a public celebration following his introductory press conference, calling the Hogs himself.
It was amazing. It's very clear that our new head coach is all in.
His excitement is contagious.
I'm pretty encouraged. I think that the school is behind this situation now more than maybe a little bit in the past. So I'm hopeful, and we'll see how the next days, months, and years go.
You know, we have to give him time to work some magic because we've been down for a while, but I think he's going to surprise people.
He was announced, like I was not overwhelmed, super excited, but the more I listened to him talk, and especially his first 24 hours with the recruiting and everything, I'm all in.
We'll see in a few months if excitement can translate into wins. Silverfield did spend his press conference earlier today laying out more of the plan as to how the Hogs will get back in the win column, and we'll hear more from that press conference later on in sports. For now, though, from Fayetteville, Tyler Cass, THV 11 Sports.
And if you missed Coach Silverfield's hour-long press conference, you can watch it right now on THV11.com or on our YouTube page. And turning now to other headlines from this week, about 100 Arkansas Army National Guardsmen left for Washington, D.C. this week to support ongoing civil security operations in our nation's capital. There was a send-off ceremony on Monday, but weather delayed their departure from Fort Smith until Tuesday. The group will rotate in to replace units that have been on duty since August. Officials say their assignment will mirror previous missions, supporting law enforcement with security in high-traffic areas, including the National Mall and metro stations.
At the end of the day, we'll have a call to serve, and we know the mission, and we know when we put the uniform on, there's always a risk.
The Guardsmen have spent the last several weeks completing administrative processing, medical and dental readiness checks, and mission-specific training. And the deployment is expected to last several months. And we move over to a developing situation in Conway as an investigation is underway at a human development center there. Disability Rights Arkansas says their findings, including allegations of malnutrition among its residents, are raising huge safety concerns. Maya Ellison spoke with families about the changes they hope to see.
Reagan Stanford and her team at Disability Rights Arkansas have spent years documenting what they call serious concerns inside the Conway Human Development Center.
Most of these were guardian complaints that they reached out directly to Disability Rights Arkansas.
Their 43-page report outlines what they describe as, quote, systemic failures in nutrition management and clinical oversight, based on cases reviewed between 2023 and 24. The report cites delayed or missing documentation and staffing shortages, including an example where a resident was documented as having eaten 2 meals, but video showed he did not eat at all.
We've seen them give someone a few bites and then there's no indication that the person is full. And then they just go throw, they move on and throw the plate away.
The 66-year-old facility currently houses about 470 people. Disability Rights Arkansas says there's 1 dietary services director and 1 clinical dietitian for the facility. Stanford says that's not adequate.
People have been completely skipped over, or they didn't get them maybe the one, and that's something we've seen in more than just the case that's highlighted here, that he was so sedated that I think he was not, he'd be sleeping a lot and was often not brought to the meal.
Stanford says the report was a last resort after what she calls a lack of response from both the Development Center and the Department of Human Services. THV 11 reached out to both. DHS calling the report a, quote, distorted attempt to discredit the Human Development Centers. On weight loss concerns, DHS says the medical needs of residents can contribute to changes in weight. One mother who didn't want to be identified says she grew worried about her son's care at the facility.
I was getting conflicting reports from different employees telling me that Felix was eating half to 3/4 of his meals and was doing good. But then I would talk to an aide at the house, and every now and then they'd be like, Felix hasn't eaten in the last 3 days that I've been working.
Hopefully, putting this out there and maybe getting some more pressure from the outside will help them kind of come to the table and right some of these wrongs that have been done.
In Conway, Maya Ellison, THV 11 News.
Meanwhile, a former owner of several Arkansas nursing homes pardoned by President Trump last month will still have to serve prison time on state charges. Joseph Schwartz received clemency from a 3-year federal prison conviction. He had pleaded guilty back in April for running a $38 million scheme where he collected taxes from his nursing home employees but never paid the IRS. A month later, he pleaded guilty on state charges that went on hold because of the federal punishment. But now that he has been pardoned, Attorney General Tim Griffin filed a motion ordering Schwartz to serve at least 31 days in an Arkansas prison. He also owes more than $1 million in restitution. The order gives Schwartz 7 days to report to the Ouachita River Unit in Malvern to serve his time. It was a busy week for the THV 11 Investigates team. They looked into several concerns about fire hydrants in 2 different areas. The first was in Hot Springs, where officials spent the week working to repair a fire hydrant crews did not know was damaged until they needed it. The issue led us to look into what happened and how those tools are inspected. And what we found is that it's different in every city. And Little Rock Fire Chief Jeremy Barber says they inspect fire hydrants twice a year. One is conducted by the fire department and the other by Central Arkansas Water Utility Company. In North Little Rock, Captain Gary Williams says all of their repairs also go to CAW. And in Conway, their fire chief says their inspections come from their utility company, Conway Corporation. After that story aired, we received a different question from a viewer. What if there aren't enough hydrants in a certain area? Rodney Farley lives in the Oak Grove section of Pulaski County. He says he's raised concerns about the problem since 2019. Then in March of 2020, his in-laws' house burned down. He claims the responding fire crews didn't have a hydrant nearby. In the county, Central Arkansas Water controls and maintains hydrants. Farley says his wife raised the issue with the water company and eventually got a new one put in, but he still has worries.
When they put that in, I thanked them for their efforts, but I asked the fire department if they had enough hoses to reach down to the end of the road where there is gas lines and there's several homes down there. And they said they did not have the fire hoses to reach that far. They would just have to fill their pumper trucks up here and run back and forth.
THV 11 checked the neighborhood and found 5 hydrants. The water company says the number of hydrants they can install is limited by the size of the original water main installed into the neighborhood. Now to a THV 11 update. After the 30 crossing expansion, Little Rock City leaders are moving forward with plans for a new downtown park in that green space. City planners unveiling a final vision for those 18 acres, calling it a once-in-a-generation chance to revamp the River Market area. After thousands of public comments, the big question remains, when will it actually be built? Catherine Rowley shows us what's in the plan and what has to happen next.
River Market was really the front edge of downtown revitalization. It really started kind of the people coming back downtown and investing downtown. But that was back in the 90s, and so it's time for us to come back and look at what we can do here to kind of pump some more life back into the street.
The River Market area is the center of this once-in-a-generational plan. Kyle Lamberger, the executive director of the Little Rock Downtown Partnership, says that the situation that the city finds itself in is a rare one.
You don't get 18 15 acres right in the heart of your downtown just come up all of a sudden that you can devote to public park space. And so we really have to seize that opportunity once in a generation. Let's make it right, and let's make it a tool that brings more people downtown to enjoy it and to live here and to work and play here.
Daniel Church, who helped design the master plan, is hoping that after traveling around the country and into Canada, that the 30 Crossing Park can be a symbol of the capital city.
I think that the opportunity that exists here is something that could become a national symbol of how you can take highway infrastructure that's no longer there and create a destination for people.
Another goal of the park is to tell the story of the state and the city, as well as highlight the features of Little Rock.
We want to draw inspiration from the amazing features that exist in this place. Arkansas is an incredible outdoor recreation destination. How can we tell that story in an urban environment right here in the capital city?
Church is hoping that Phase 0 will start next summer, but in the meantime, it gives those associated with the project to find sources of federal and state funding, as well as private funding.
But I think that, it's going to take public-private partnerships. I think that there is already interest from the private community in this project. So I think that we will have to run a capital campaign to raise the funds.
The public feedback also suggests having more nature space in the park, including gardens. The Downtown Partnership is also applying for federal grants to help with the cost. And as the holiday season nears, tariffs could be playing the role of the Grinch. The executive order you need to know about to avoid price hikes coming up. But first, a recap.
It's good to see you.
Former President Barack Obama walked on stage in Bentonville to a warm and loud Arkansas welcome.
But you didn't tell me it gets this cold in Arkansas.
When asked what the American spirit means to him, the former president says it starts with the belief that everyone has power.
Your fate is not predetermined by caste or, whether your folks are important. It's just you can make something. That individualism combined with this sense of, and together we can do some things.
And he says every generation plays a role in reinventing that spirit.
There's a process of self-invention that is uniquely American, that you just don't see in other places. That sense of each generation deciding, you know what, that doesn't look right to me. I think we can make it a little bit better.
On patriotism, Obama says loving your country means being honest about it, even when it's hard.
Both the left and the right sometimes got confused in thinking that it was not possible to take an honest look at America's flaws and be critical of it and still love it. And that's a mistake.
He also warned that the country is facing real political strain.
I think it is true that we are more divided and that our democracy is more unstable than any time in my lifetime.
Still, he says change is possible.
I don't think you can just fix it by fixing political rules or electing, one party over another. That's not going to solve the entire problem. I think we have to change some of the civic habits.
For many in the crowd, the timing of his message couldn't have felt more important.
Excited to hear him talk and, maybe even, some words of encouragement for, what's going on in the world.
And when asked what gives him hope, Obama didn't hesitate. Young people.
I am hopeful as long as young people don't succumb to cynicism or despair.
You've heard a lot about tariffs since President Trump took office, but could they actually affect your holiday shopping? For one Hot Springs resident, they're already having an impact. Carter Thweet has their story and what you should look out for ahead of the holidays.
It arrived and I got a notice that I had to pay a $30 tariff. And at first I thought it was a scam.
But it wasn't for Diana Hampo of Hot Springs, who ordered a specific type of wide-angle camera lens for her son for Christmas. It shipped from Belgium, but once it got to Arkansas, she couldn't get it until she paid extra to UPS.
I felt like it was kind of sneaky, almost duplicitous, because when I ordered the lens, there wasn't anything about a tariff.
One University of Central Arkansas professor wasn't surprised by the story. Jeremy Horpedal teaches economics and says tariffs, which are an extra charge on goods coming from another country, can be felt in a variety of ways.
One of the major initiatives of the Trump administration is to increase tariffs in a lot of different ways. Some of which are kind of hidden, but some which consumers are really starting to actually see on the goods they buy.
And Horpedal says there was one executive order in August that could really affect your Christmas shopping. Previously, an item had to cost $800 or more to get hit with a tariff, but President Trump got rid of that minimum, saying it would halt the flow of illegal drugs across the border.
Now, all goods are going to face a tariff, whether they're $1,000 goods or $50 goods. And in some cases, the seller might add that into the price.
That includes Hampo's $50 camera lens. Horpedal suggests combing through websites to find their tariff policy before you buy. Or you could go with Hampo's new solution.
The moral of the story is shop local. You know, if I had walked into the camera shop downtown, found my lens, I would have known exactly how much it cost.
In Hot Springs, Carter Thweet, THV 11 News.
Horpedal says while shopping local will get rid of any surprise fees, any of their imported goods will also be more expensive due to tariffs. It'll just be factored into the listed price instead of being added on later. And we want to help you protect more than just your wallet this holiday season. A lot of people are putting up Christmas lights this week or hiring someone to put them up. We caught up with a crew working on a house in Cabot, even through freezing temperatures and rain. If you choose to climb up on a ladder and do it yourself, the professionals at Wonderly Lights of Little Rock have tips for you so you don't blow the power to your house.
We use a power strip so that way nothing will blow. Like I said, if anything's wrong, it'll trip that power strip first and we'll be good. All we gotta do is reset it, find our problem we made and then reset it, you know.
And like we said, even on a cold, rainy day, the work doesn't stop, but they did tell us business is slowing down a little bit as we get closer to Christmas. The sounds of the season brought a crowd to the Arkansas State Capitol earlier this week. The Arkansas Symphony Orchestra hosted a free Carols at the Capitol concert on Tuesday. The group says it's one of its favorite events, along with their annual Home for the Holidays concert. That's coming up on December 19th at Robinson Center. And you can start visiting our holiday-themed state capitol this weekend. Is it turkey or is it cake? After the break, we'll show you how one Arkansan left thousands wondering if her Thanksgiving dinner was real. But first, let's eat it up.
Gosh, I don't ever recall a time where I've had a Danish.
Danish? It sounds kind of fancy, but I mean, that's just like goodness piled on top of like pastry. What could be better?
I just thought that was somebody from Denmark. You're Danish. This week on Eat It Up, we're in the heart of downtown Little Rock. We are just steps away from the Arkansas State Capitol at Dempsey Bakery. Y'all, it is the holiday season, time for cookies, time for cakes. And let me just say this, if you have got food allergies out there, this is the place for you. So what do you say? Let's eat it up.
We're downtown Little Rock. We've been here since 2011. Everything is gluten, nut, and soy free. We also have a lot of coconut free things. We do a lot of egg and dairy free as well. We try to cover a lot of allergies. Gluten-free, I mean, it is a little trickier with gluten-free. We do pride our products here. They do taste a lot better than the cardboard stuff at the store. But my bakers and everyone here, we're all trained to make sure that we are very conscious of all allergies. No one will know. And I've been told multiple times, a bride will say, my whole wedding cake got eaten and no one even knew, and they said it was great, so. lots of pies. We also have pumpkin roulades, which is kind of like a pumpkin Swiss roll. We have some chocolate rolls, lots of cookies. People love their shortbread cookies, which will roll into Christmas. We do even more shortbread decorated cookies.
Lauren Johnston, one of my besties at work all the time and in real life too, by the way. We worked together for 10 years now. So you told me we take recommendations for Eat It Up. You said, oh, you got to go to Dempsey Bakery.
Yeah, I have a gluten and a dairy allergy. So finding places like Dempsey where I can have pretty much anything is kind of like a unicorn out in the wild. We got a turkey melt.
Ooh, I love a good turkey melt.
gluten-free bread.
The cheddar on there too.
Okay, I'm gonna go for this. Okay, how cute is this little guy?
That's pretty good.
He's a little gingerbread man. It's a little early for gingerbread, but it's never too early for Christmas.
Cheers.
Took his head right off. This is a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich. Dude, this isn't real cheese. Prefacing, this is not real cheese. But you're not gonna be able to tell.
How about that?
Do you see how like melty it actually is?
It's like you've done this before. Cheers.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
This cheese, look, it's melting all over my hand. That's not real, but it's so good.
I love it too because the people are just coming in. Come on, come on.
They're really busy right now.
Every time I hear doors opening, here they come, here they come.
So gingerbread and pumpkin. This one's like soft and mushy, and this one's a little more hard, but I'm sure they're both. I'm gonna go
Gingerbread and pumpkin. Those are somebody's dog's names out there. I guarantee you. Gingerbread and pumpkin. This is for you. I like the crunch. I love the crunch on that.
Well, spoiler alert, this one is also very good.
Very good. This is my favorite season in the world.
I agree. Everything smells like cinnamon and delicious. I just can't.
Everything is wonderful.
By now, you've probably seen the viral online trend, is it cake? If not, it's exactly what it sounds like. People making cakes that look like other objects or foods. And as Morgan Wrigley shows us, one Arkansas woman left thousands online ready to pass the gravy instead of licking the cake.
At first glance, you might be convinced this is the real thing, but one slice proves otherwise. What looks like a delicious Thanksgiving turkey is actually a chocolate cake made by Hannah Ryder.
I was sitting on the couch with my family and my brother was like, oh my gosh, you're going viral. And I was like, what are you talking about?
Ryder, the owner of Hannah's Cake Co. in Huntsville, Arkansas, is no stranger to hyper-realistic cakes.
I made like a rack of ribs, a Halloween candy bucket, so I really like pushing myself and thinking outside the box.
But this one made quite an impression. Now more than 3.5 million views and counting on TikTok.
Never in a million years did I think that it would blow up like that.
Thousands of people expressed their surprise and for some, dismay at what was inside the turkey.
People thought it was turkey, so when they saw the chocolate, they thought it was mold. A lot of people said caviar.
And others didn't believe it was real at all.
They also said like AI, which that's a big compliment, so I'll take it.
For Ryder, going viral is exciting, but what matters most is sharing joy through her craft.
If you ever have dreams, don't be afraid to go for them because, 3 years ago when I started this business, I never would have thought I'd be here today. Something I was passionate about kind of turned into a business for me.
And she says the video is bringing a boost to her small town bakery, along with requests for her next creation.
A lot of people were asking me for like a Christmas ham, so that's definitely in the works.
We'll just have to stay tuned to see what she carves up next.
And that's it for the 11 on 11. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.